The biggest question for Green Bay heading into this season has been who is going to step up at wide receiver this year. Now, rookie wideout Romeo Doubs was drafted by the Packers in the 4th round from this past year's NFL draft out of Nevada. And this guy has been the talk amongst Green Bay Packers fans, coaches, and players so far throughout training camp. If the Packers had to give out an MVP award for most outstanding player during training camp so far, it would be given to Romeo Doubs because this dude has been absolutely sensational. And remind you that he's been balling out against one of the best secondaries in the NFL. The Packers have Jair Alexander, who is one of the top 3 or top 5 best cornerbacks currently in the game. You have Eric Stokes, who in 2021, in my opinion, was the 2nd best rookie cornerback behind Patrick Surtain. And yet you have Romeo Doubs out there, who's a rookie, looking like he's a seasoned veteran. And if you go back and you watch the Green Bay Packers pass Week 1 preseason game against the San Francisco 49ers, this dude, Romeo Doubs, was absolutely balling. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the number 87, because you guys remember the last time a Green Bay Packers wide receiver wore that number 87. It was Jordy Nelson. And he is one of the best Green Bay Packers players of all time. I'm not saying he is the best. I'm saying he is one of the best. And Jordy Nelson had to be watching that preseason game and had to be grinning with a big smile on his face saying, you know what? That dude Romeo Doubs is making that number 87 look really good. He had 3 receptions for 45 receiving yards and a touchdown. Jordan Love hit him on a beautiful dime. And he also had 7 targets. Now, when I was watching this preseason matchup and I saw Romeo Doubs making plays and getting all these targets, the first thing that came in my head was, bro, can the Green Bay Packers let somebody else get some shine? I literally thought that Romeo Doubs was going to end up having 12 targets by the time he came out the game, because Jordan Love was finding him often. And it seems as if at this point, you can say that he is the Green Bay Packers' most consistent wide receiver. Now, we still have yet to really see Christian Watson, who was the Packers' 1st round pick out of North Dakota State. He currently is dealing with an injury, but he is expected to return within the next couple of days. I still am really high on what Sammy Watkins can bring to this offense. Of course, we can't forget about Allen Lazard, who many Green Bay Packers fans feel is going to be in for a breakout season. But if you're looking for the true number 1 wide receiver for Green Bay at this moment, you kind of definitely have to view Romeo Doubs in that conversation. And yeah, he is a rookie, but just because you're a rookie doesn't mean that you can't automatically become the best wide receiver on your team. Because for Green Bay, they still have a lot of question marks when it comes to how productive that wide receiver room is going to be this season. So the fact that you have a young wideout in Romeo Doubs, who is absolutely putting on a show right now, has to give you a lot of confidence as we rapidly approach the start of the 2022 NFL season. And he has great size. He's 6'2", 205 pounds, really good speed, incredible footwork, and very, very reliable hands. So when you look at Romeo Doubs, if he keeps up his performance, and there's no reason why he shouldn't, he definitely is going to have a big role in this offense. And not only is he going to have a big role in this offense, but if he ends up starting and getting significant targets this year, he could end up being one of the best rookie wide receivers this season. Because when you're playing with Aaron Rodgers, it's kind of like you get a performance boost. So let's say you're 67 overall. You play with A-Rod, the bad man, you get a plus 10 overall boost. Because Aaron Rodgers is that good. Aaron Rodgers is able to make the wide receivers around him better. Now, the last time Green Bay struck gold in the middle portion of the NFL draft, or with their day 2 draft pick when it came to wide receiver, was DeVante Adams. Remember, DeVante Adams was not a 1st round pick when he was coming out of Fresno State. He was very under the radar. Not a lot of people knew about him. Green Bay got him day 2. It took him a while to develop. But then within the next 2-3 years, DeVante Adams slowly but surely became one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And I definitely feel like Romeo Doubs could end up having a similar story. Now, of course, DeVante Adams and Romeo Doubs, I think, are two different players. However, I definitely feel like Romeo Doubs could have a way more successful and better rookie season compared to how productive DeVante Adams was in his first year with Green Bay. Because with Aaron Rodgers, you kind of have no choice but to trust the young wideouts that you currently have. Because, yeah, you have veterans, but, I mean, at this point, the guy who's been making the most noise so far has been Romeo Doubs, and it begs you to ask the question, is Romeo Doubs currently in line to become the new wide receiver 1 for Green Bay? Because I definitely feel like we got to start having this conversation, because who else in training camp so far has been having the kind of production that Romeo Doubs has had? Think about it. We really haven't heard anything out of training camp when it comes to the Green Bay Packers wide receiver room outside of Romeo Doubs. So I think at this moment it's fair to at least label him as the second option in this passing game behind Allen Lazard. Now, me personally, I don't think that Allen Lazard is a true number 1. Okay, however, I am going to give him the benefit of a doubt. Green Bay is really high on him. So I think that when you look at the Green Bay Packers, okay, I definitely feel like Romeo Doubs is currently their best wide receiver at this moment. But you guys let me know how you guys feel about Romeo Doubs as we progress throughout the rest of training camp and preseason. Do you guys think that he's going to end up becoming the best wide receiver on Green Bay this year? Or do you guys think that, you know, his hype is going to start to die down once we get into the regular season? Because, you know, there are a lot of instances where we hear about players having phenomenal preseasons and phenomenal performances throughout training camp, and then the regular season comes around and they just go ghost, they disappear, they're MIA, nobody hears from them ever again. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. I appreciate you guys for listening to this episode of the JT Sports Podcast. Remember that every video that's uploaded on the channel is available in audio format on every single podcasting platform. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from, the JT Sports Podcast is available.